All right, good morning, old school Texas Tech. Jordan and I are going to dive a little bit deeper into the game tomorrow, West Virginia at Texas Tech. Before I forget, please subscribe, like, and comment. We would really appreciate it. It would really help the channel. Um, West Virginia, Texas Tech is the overall series. We played 13 times. I think only one time outside of the Big 12, and West Virginia leads the series 7-6. Last week, Oklahoma State had a one-game advantage in the overall series, and we tied it up. So hopefully that trend continues. But what do you think is going to happen with the game tomorrow in Lubbock?
Well, first, I didn't realize that they were 7-6 against us. I would have guessed we were. I don't know if you would have said, "Hey, what do you think the overall series is?" I would have said like 8-6 Tech. You said 14 games played, 13, whatever it is.
We've done very well in Lubbock. I'll put that statistic on the YouTube channel on the
Okay,
comments. But we've done
makes
very
sense. It looks like the times that we've struggled with them has been away from our stadium, and we're at home tomorrow, which is a good thing.
yeah,
I think we're gonna. I mean, we've got a lot on the line. We know McGuire's record in November is still pretty good overall. Since
really
we
good,
got here. And
really
we have
good.
a chance to have our best regular season since 2009, winning 8 games. So I think there's a lot on the line.
How do you
And I
say?
don't think, and stop me if I'm wrong here, I will say, full disclosure, I've not watched West Virginia really this year. I've seen stats and I follow scores and all that. So I don't really know what we're seeing here, but they don't strike me as being this offensive juggernaut. But then again, who knows? Playing our defense, they probably will turn into one.
Yeah, it looks to me, from what I can tell, I have watched them a little bit, and then I've watched several. I love to watch the coaches press conferences. The quarterback can run the ball a little bit, which is always scary against us. We always struggle with that. They can run they've got a couple good running backs. I mean, they're not. I mean, I don't think they're like absolutely fantastic, but they're solid. But they're not really like a great passing game. I mean, a great passing team. That's kind of what I get. The quarterback's savvy. He can run the ball a little bit. They can run the ball. They've got good running backs, but they're not necessarily gonna blow us away in the passing game. You know, which
Okay.
our passing defense, that's pretty easy to. That could be an advantage if they can't really, run up a lot of passing yards against us. Kind of makes them one dimensional. Could. We'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
So what do you think on the score?
I was pretty wrong last week. I said 35-31 Tech and it ended up being like 52. What was it? 50, no, 40. I already forgot. 52-49 or something like that. It wasn't quite, or something similar. 50, no, 56-48. I think it was the final, right?
Yeah, 56 to 48. Yes, 56 to
Okay.
48.
Okay. Well, I think that 35-31 should have probably been saved for this week. I'm not going to go with that same score 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to say 34-31. But I think
Okay.
that we always have this habit of making the other opposing offense look great. I'm sure West Virginia will have no problem rolling up 480 yards and scoring in the 30s on us. So that's I've made no, I mean, and not necessarily on line posts, but I've made pretty clear, and I think everybody knows that the Tech defense has got major problems. So 34-31 Tech, and it will pull away late to win.
Okay. I actually, if the two defensive linemen, if both of them can come in, they're both listed as questionable, but it sounds like they're probably going to play. If both of those guys can play, they're actually more of like our second team. We've already lost due to Banks, so we've got one of our best defensive players out, for the year, and that's been the case for a long time. But if we can play with the guys that we started the game with last week in Stillwater, if they can get through with the majority of this game, get a lot of reps, I'm thinking more like a 35-30 Tech win. I think that's how Tech would like to play it and use Taj Brooks a lot. And I could even see us kind of jumping ahead a little bit because with those two defensive tackles in there, we're a different team defensively. They're not great players, but they're they're good enough to help keep the offensive linemen off of Rodriguez and Roberts. That would to me, that's what I saw a lot of last week against Oklahoma State is Rodriguez and Roberts. I mean, they were getting blocked because they were getting very little help from the defensive line at all. If one or both of those guys can't play, I think Tech's going to have to switch to more of a shootout type strategy like we had up in Stillwater, and that could get wild. But I think in a shootout we would have the advantage, especially at home. Baron Morton's proven that if he has to go out and they don't have a good secondary either. I think their secondary is about as bad as Tech and Oklahoma State's secondary. So if he has to go out and throw the ball and try to get over 50 points, I think we could win it in a shootout. But I'm sure the Tech staff would prefer to keep it like a 35-30 type game.
That's fair. Now you've done your analysis.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about with this one?
No, but I mean, I still think having 8 regular season wins will be a nice move up. I mean, year 3, this is 3 winning seasons, really and truly in a row in his first 3 years. I know Matt Wells didn't have that in Kingsbury.
No, we haven't come close. It's
So
the first time we've had a coach since Leach who's bowl eligible his first 3 years.
yeah,
Tom Tuberville blew that terrible long. It was terrible. He blew that long bowl eligibility streak. We didn't make. We didn't actually make bowls every year, but we had a long bowl eligibility streak that he broke in his second season. So there's a lot of people who are criticizing McGuire. I mean, I'm still hearing some of the high school stuff. Like, I mean, I respect people who have that opinion. I just don't know how you can say that after he spent 5 years as an assistant at Baylor. I mean, that to me, that's paying your dues. That's not an unreasonable amount of time. And he was a highly successful high school football coach, and then he did well as an assistant at Baylor and was even a candidate for their job, I think, after his second or third season, something like that. So I understand some of the criticism of the assistants. And I watched Joey McGuire's press conference this week. I got the vibe that there was going to be pretty quick activity after the game, and that he already had some things in mind. I think it could be something more creative, a little bit more outside the box than what we're thinking. I'm not sure it's going to be just as simple as like he fires, one of the coordinators or something. I think you could see like a situation where this is my personal opinion. I think you could see a situation where you end up with like a defensive coordinator, and maybe you see a couple staff changes, especially with the secondary. But I think it's going to be something more along those lines, especially if we win.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add?
No, I just think I think we're going to win 8, and that's a pretty good season for us.
The only problem with winning 8 is you know what the most likely scenario is. I mean, we might get lucky and draw. I know there are people on here like me who I just want to win tomorrow and win a bowl game and regroup and do. I think we'll do well in the Porter. There's a lot of rumors that the Tech brass is willing to spend some money in the portal this year, like some real money. But so there's a school of thought. Some people just want to get the bowl win. That's kind of where I am. And then I know there's a lot of people on here who want to go and play like some really good SEC team. The only exception, and I know that they're a very good team, and they would be very difficult for us to beat. But if we did get the chance to play A&M in a bowl game, I would love. That's one challenge I definitely would love. But other than that, I'd rather just get somebody that we can take care of business with in the bowl season. What do you think?
I just want to get to 9 wins. It'd be nice to see a 9-4 record sitting there. And I have a feeling that we're going to end up in like the Alamo Bowl or one of those. And I think that's I don't remember what the seedings look like, but I think the Alamo Bowl, I don't think that's SEC, is it? Or is it?
I know the Texas Bowl is one that we've been mentioned for a lot, but we played in that bowl 2 years ago against Ole Miss and did well, obviously. So Yeah, the bowl predictions are all over the place, and it'll make a big difference whether we win or lose tomorrow too on the
Yep.
quality.
Yeah, because we have a whole nother weekend of conference championships before all that can be sorted out.
Yeah.
This whole thing is it's a mess. The Big 12 log jam, and then this 12-team playoff still doesn't make sense to me with some of the seedings that I saw. How you just automatically give a conference champion, I guess, the top couple of seeds. I don't, whatever.
They're saying that depending on what happens, that the Big 12 champion could end up being the 12th seed in the tournament. So,
Bizarre stuff, man. That's why they should have kept it to 8, in my opinion. Max it out at 8 teams and call it a day. Take the top 8 and move on.
yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion on that right now. I also want to see how it plays out. And I'm just mainly concerned with Tech finishing the season strong.
Yep. 8-4. Here we come. Let's get it done.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy the game
Thanks, Mark.
tomorrow. Guns up.